Hi. So Mercer is he oh my god, oh my goodness. So Mongolian Mindset is a
Okay.
channel that Mercer um runs, and it's where he interviews people, and during my interview is what propelled me to start this channel. One of the questions in the interview, that is. And now it's my turn to interview Mercer and probably ask him the same question I was asked.
Okay. So I guess it's an introduction here.
Who are you?
I'm Mercer from Mongolian Mindset. Over in our channel, we interview people and we help them find their personality type. Everyone has a personality type. Everyone comes into the world with a personality type. Our goal is just to find your personality type. Um, we had her on. She goes by the name Noodles. It was a great interview. We also got to do her husband. It was also another great interview. So I'm looking forward to this life after death interview with Noodles. So uh,
Welcome. So, what's your earliest memory of death and dying?
uh, earliest memory of death. Um, this is weird. But like I remember maybe like I'm not sure the specifics on it, but a cousin, uncle, or cousin, uncle, somebody in the family died, and we went to a funeral, and I was like, I don't know, I was a kid, and I was an idiot, and I told them, why don't we just throw water on his face? He'll wake up. And then everybody like looked at me like I was crazy. But that was probably my earliest memory of being around death. Just remember going to a funeral and saying that, and everybody looking at me like I was crazy,
And
because I
how,
guess didn't
yeah.
understand this what had really happened there.
So, how did that influence your life?
How did that influence my life? Hmm. For me, when I was a kid, I always wanted to live forever. So that was always like that was one thing that I wanted to do. It's like I'm gonna figure out a way to live forever. Like that's always been a dream, or whatever. So it just let me know um that life is finite. Um, Pretty much. It I mean, it didn't really change much, for me personally.
But what if
Kind of see life, I mean, death as like a natural process of life.
but what if you can live forever?
If I could live forever, that'd be awesome. I thought about this a lot. I thought because you live forever, you'd have to figure out a way to where you'd have to keep changing your identity, because no one, if you live forever, the government's gonna be like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Like, why is he living forever? And if that's the case, then they might put you in a lab and start picking and prodding on you, and then you be in a cell for the rest of your life. So you got to figure out some type of way to keep changing your identity up. And also you got to think about, like, you'd have kids, and then you see your kids die and stuff like that, and that's kind of hard on the parent or person in general. But it would be fun for, like, 400 or 500 years, but then after a while of like continuing to live, you'd be like, oh, begging to die. It's kind of like I don't know if you ever seen an anime called Code Geass. Um,
I haven't, but
yeah,
I'll listen to this and find that.
yeah.
Ask my husband
So
to find it for us to watch.
a gist of that is that essentially she was a person who could live forever, and she wanted to really die. Like she just wanted to die. Like that's what she was searching for, because when you live forever, it's like fuck everything. I mean, everything just keeps going on and on and on. And yeah, he kind of wanted to end.
So, what if there's an afterlife?
Um, well, I am a Christian now, so I do believe in the afterlife. Um, if you want to ask me what I thought beforehand, before I became a Christian, that's a lot more interesting. I believe like God is in everything, and I think people are on their natural journeys in life to figure out some type of purpose, and once they reach that purpose, then they can go. But energy is not created nor destroyed, so the energy is still here. So it's just a recycling service until you reach that pinnacle of evolution. So whether you like, being reincarnated into, I don't know, an ant and then die there and circularly like evolve back to being a human again. I don't know. Just something I thought about when I was a kid.
Speaking of recycling and afterlife and energies, if past lives were real, or if it's real, what do you think would you have been?
Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan or Napoleon or uh one of those great rulers that they've always interested me for some reason. As soon as I picked up one of those books and I read about those guys, it just a different feeling inside of me came over. So I definitely would have loved to be back in those eras in that time. Um, Definitely think I would have been one of those conquerors or something in the previous life.
And what if you can choose what you can be in your next life? What would you be?
Yeah, I've actually thought about this. I've made like a little running joke that like, because of like the situation in my life that I'm gonna basically be the person who sets up my next generations and their next generations. So I won't reap the benefits. So I always joked around that maybe I'll be reincarnated as Mercer the 17th, and if I'm reincarnated as Mercer the 17th, I'll come back and finish the mission.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what if you only have 3 months to live?
If I only had 3 months to live, what would I do? I would probably take a first week thinking about exactly how I want to go about the next 3 months. Um I'd probably try to kick things into overdrive when it comes to like work and not work, but like things that can leave an imprint on people. So that would be more of the goal that I'd be trying to figure out. Like, how am I going to use these last 3 months to be as effective as I can for people or humanity, so that I can make the impact that I want to. So that's what I would probably do.
And what if you have a pen and a paper and only 3 minutes to live? What would you write?
I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't write anything. Fuck it, it's over.
Makes sense. So, how often do you think about death and dying?
Not really that often, really. I really don't think about it that much, because I'm just so focused on the next move, the next step, where I'm going next. That I'm not generally thinking about death here. I know that if you think about death, that you will do things with more expedience, but it's just I don't like to think about it in my mindset or anything like that. Um, but I guess if I got to a certain period or point in my life where everything was accomplished and I was where I wanted to be, then I would start reflecting more on that.
How prepared are you to die?
Me, I don't think following up the previous question, I don't think I'm prepared at all. But at the end of the day, we generally don't get to choose when it's our time, really. Um, all we can do is put ourselves in the best place possible, to not die. But hey,
So, at this moment in your life, how do you think would you be remembered if you pass?
if I pass, my friends would remember me as someone who helped them see or have a great time. Some of them will remember me as an asshole. Uh, um, but generally speaking, I don't think I've really accomplished enough in my eyes to have a noticeable impact. So that's that.
How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as somebody who was a fighter, a person who went, gave life everything they had, to the last minute. So that's what I want to be remembered for. If that, hopefully, that's accomplished something great. Um, I've always talked about like maybe later on in life that I want to go into politics. So I would want to be remembered for being a great politician. So as well.
If you could choose a way to die, how would you like it to happen?
Yeah. Easy. I would want something where, because if you see um like people in the hospitals, it's like they'll go in and out of the hospital with, like, they'll be in and out, in and out, in and out, and then they die. Kind of don't want to go through that process, really. I would just rather just, just die, really. I don't want to be like, oh, you go into the hospital with a heart attack and then you get out 2 months late. I mean, you get out a week later and then you go back with high sugar, and then you get out and then you go back with, and you get a toe amputation, and then you back, like, I don't want to deal with that whole thing. I kind of just want to go out, like, boom, just go. And when I've accomplished everything, I've done everything, I've set up the generations for the next. So that's fine with me. Just let me go.
If I
That,
remember correctly, you were talking in your group Facebook um account one time about dreams
mm-hmm.
and a recurring dream somewhat that you have. Is it somewhat related to death, if I remember right?
So I have a lot of dreams. A lot of times they're just like movies
Mm.
to me. I feel like they're very, if I was able to actually um have like a studio or something, they would be very great movies. They're like I think they're like sometimes when I'm watching them, because I feel like I'm watching them from a third person perspective and everything is playing out, I'm like, this would be so great in a theater. So I get dreams like that all the time where I just wake up and I generally jot down a couple of the like overall arching themes so that, like, when I read them in my notes later on, just in case that if I do anything and I make a lot of money or something and I get time to actually pursue other activities, that'd be one of the things that I would like to do. Maybe make those dreams movies. So I have a lot of dreams. And I always like kind of psychoanalyze them. But I don't get many for death, really. Death is kind of not, if I see death in there, then I'm like super analyzing it, but I don't really get that much, really. And I'm kind of happy I don't, because they say when people die in dreams, then like something's gonna happen around you or something. I don't know the stigmatism attached to that.
From what I've heard, they say that when people dream about dying, it's actually about rebirth
Yeah.
or having new life, something like that.
Mm.
So it's
Okay.
not as scary as what most of us think.
Well, do you have dreams about death a lot?
What propelled me to, keep on thinking about death very early on in life was a dream that I had when I was like 7 years old, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, and from then I've been like death conscious.
Really?
Yes,
I
so
mean, I've had dreams about death. Like, I've had, when I shouldn't be doing a certain thing, it's like I have a dream about it, and like it'll be like attached to death. Like when I was a kid, I remember one Halloween I wanted to dress up and I wanted to be a gangster. And I had a dream of like getting shot up like by a whole bunch of people. And then I woke up from that dream and I said, I never want to be a gangster. So little things like that, I think like when it comes to like death and things like that, it's always been something that I shouldn't be doing, or like that's not the right path for me. It'll be like, okay, no, like we're gonna give him a bad dream and he's gonna wake up and he's not gonna want to do this. So I don't know if it's like my guardian angel or something. It's like, oh, we're gonna give him this dream. We know he's gonna wake up and be like, I can't do this, or that, because it's like, I don't know. I see like a lot of like my dreams and visions. They seem to be so close that they're real that I can generally experience them over and over. So for me, it feel like, I actually died, or like I actually was shot. So it's kind of interesting.
it is.
Yeah.
So what can you say about the current system that we have about, with regards to death and dying?
Well, I talked about earlier, that it's a pretty painful process that, it's not just like you just die. It's like you go through this cycle of, okay, you had a heart attack and now you get out a week, and then like you have this complication, then you get out, and you get this complication, and you get out, and then you have this complication, you get out, and then you finally die. So for me, I just feel like when the person should be able to euthanize themselves once if they feel comfortable. Maybe you have to put in a set parameter at what age you would like to put that in, or like what things are a requirement to be able to do that. I think that should be a thing because I don't think anyone wants to go through that crappy process of just staying in the hospital weeks on end, not being able to take a bath, being a burden on society. That whole process in itself kind of sucks. So I think that could be definitely improved with that. Overall, I don't know if there's many studies done on like what happens to the energy after a person dies. I think that would be interesting as well to look at. But um, that's my big problem with death in itself. Um, and yeah, I mean,
What's
maybe teach people about like setting up like wills or life insurance or things like that, so that they don't burden their family members um, with financial things afterwards, or figuring out what this person wanted, or figuring out like where how this person want to be cremated or buried or anything like that. I think maybe they should teach more on that. But if you want to say like, if I was God, what would I do? That now that's a lot different. Um, so,
I believe some of it is influenced by religion. A
mhm.
lot of the policies in place right now is influenced by religion, but it hasn't been revised, and it's now, the 20th century, kind of archaic, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really see them changing that. I mean, because death scares a lot of people,
Mm.
and a lot of people don't even want to deal with that type of stuff. Um, so, and generally, people are very traditional more than they think. Traditions stay up, so I doubt anything like that to be touched. But I think it's kind of crazy that people just have to go through that that's that cycle before they die.
What's your opinion about ghosts and parallel dimensions and those kinds of things?
um, I haven't really for ghosts and stuff. When I was a kid, we used to be terrified with ghosts. Me and my older brother. But generally speaking, um, I don't really delve into that too much because it's kind of freaky. I don't like to think about things that I can't like physically harm that it can chase me or anything like that. Um, but I do think that maybe possibly if you had such a traumatic life on this planet, maybe your pains and terror could still stay on this planet after you've been gone. Like the energy or your pain, your suffering, and all that may still take a form in some type of energy. So that's my thoughts on ghost in itself. Pain, trauma, suffering, um, just
If I remember correctly, you're in the science field.
hmm
And so, what inspired you to be in a science field?
What inspired me? Well, I wanted to be, generally speaking, I wanted to go to medical school. So I just thought that was a path for me. And then afterwards, kind of looked at things and I was like, I don't want to go to medical school because my family can't sustain like me going to medical school. And I just felt like it would, at the end of the day, that's not what I really wanted in life. Like I go back to that politician thing. Um, but I was more so kind of looking at, what was the best way to accumulate a lot of money fast so that you could, because once you get money, then you can kind of start networking more because your friends are higher caliber people, and then you start networking more, and then you get all that going around, you get your image going around, and then you can launch into politics or whatnot. Because everybody likes a winner. People want to be associated with winners. So Um, that's the reason why I was gonna go. That was the path I was thinking was the path I was gonna take was, go to medical school, work for like 10, 15 years, then retire, and then focus on politics. But that path didn't work for me. So
What kind of politician do you think you'll be?
um I think that I want to do something like potentially be like a governor or something. Um that would be nice. Governor, senator, that type of thing. Probably start with something local, um, and then eventually go bigger. Because I'm a go big or go home type person. So probably House of Representatives, stuff like that. But I think it's very important to like that networking thing is very important. Networking.
Never. So, what kind of network do you like plan to have? Is it just a specific kind of people or
Oh, I want to network with the most important people on the planet. Like that's what networking is about. Like if you're gonna network, then it's got to be the best. So, like I said, I'm a go big or go home type person. And like I said, to go back onto your thing about death, you only got really one life. Okay. There's no really do-overs, there's no retries, there's no save points. So I see it as I don't know if you know Odysseus or the Odyssey or whatever. When he came back, he had to shoot an arrow through these three rings, and that's how I see life. It's like it's almost got to be perfect. You're not coming back and not doing it again, so you got to line it up and be perfect with the precision of where you're going and stuff like that. Um, so you could be a happy person when you die. Like I kind of want to be that person when I die. I can be laughing at death, or like laughing like, "Oh man, did you see the stuff I did? That was some great stuff I did. Just laughing. I don't want to be the person like, oh man, I didn't have enough time, or I didn't accomplish what I said I have to, or stuff of that matter. So,
so what kind of grandparent do you think you'll be?
grandparent, haha. Um, a grandparent. If for me, I think it depends on what my son is, right? Because if my son is kind of like weak and whatever, then like it'll be like my job to kind of get them ready. Because at the end of the day, they're a reflection of me. And I'd want them to be able to show that our family is still strong or still has a vision or still powerful or still going somewhere because, I'm not going to be here forever. So a lot of times, a lot of people aren't great with planning. So I think I'd be that grandfather who tries to push them to go towards their dreams, go towards their dreams and make sure that they give maximum effort. So, it doesn't matter what your dream is, as long as you're the best, I'll be happy as a grandfather or as any like, lineage type person. As long as you do whatever you're gonna do and you're absolutely the best or you're pushing towards being the best and you're committed to that process, that's what will make me happy.
So we've talked for a couple of minutes now, and I need to ask you this question again because
Mhm.
I think it's important. Who are you?
Who am I? Uh to be right now, I'm nobody, really. Maybe 10, 15 years from now, I'll be somebody. But to me, I'm just a man on his mission to be great, to have the great best life I can have. So I don't really guess I wouldn't classify myself as anything right now. Until the time comes. That's the type of person I am. Guess I'll
Okay,
look back on that one day. I guess I'll look back on that one day.
yeah, and maybe few months, few years from now, I can ask you the same question on the same interview, and you might have a different answer.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That
Yeah.
would be awesome.
So complete the sentence. When I die.
When I die, um, I just want to be able to laugh at death and enjoy the things that I did on the earth, and notice that that I was irreplaceable. How about that? That's
Yep.
um, anything else?
I think I don't have any more questions.
Well, all right, Noodles. It was absolutely a pleasure. I hope to see you around in the group, and I hope this does great on YouTube. And you guys should subscribe to her channel. She's gonna be doing a lot more.
Yeah. And subscribe to Mercer's channel.
All right, Noodles. Have fun.
Have fun. You too. Bye.
Bye.